Hey there, welcome back to The Daily. This is Adriana. What a treat to be back here with you as we continue to explore this theme of our month, which is generosity, aka the practice of both giving and receiving. And for today's practice, I wanted to continue on this sort of theme within a theme of really being on the receiving end of our own generosity, which is how we've been setting up the month here of really taking some time to work with our own attention directed towards ourselves as an act of both giving this priceless, valuable resource of our own attention back to ourselves, but then also, of course, being on the receiving end of that, which, as I mentioned at the top of our month together, for some of us, one side of generosity is oftentimes a lot more comfortable or more well-practiced than the other. So if you find it a little bit more difficult to receive, whether it be, receive the generosity of others or just kind of receive some kindness from yourself, then this is your moment. This is your moment for practice. So for today's practice, I wanted to take us in maybe a slightly less conventional direction by doing a somatic meditation, really getting into the body and lathering our body, our home, right, this vessel, with our own gracious and undivided attention. And doing that by really just giving ourselves a long, luscious body scan. I find that the body holds so much information, right? And this has sort of been verified through trauma research that a lot of our history is stored. It's stored in our body, it's stored in our muscles, in our fat tissues, and that by taking some time to really kind of touch in and tap in to all of this information that's being held somatically, we're sort of creating this two-way dialogue between ourselves and the kind of wisdom of the body or the stored information of the body. So I want to encourage us here right off the top to find a position where we're lying down for this long and luscious body scan, where we feel our body wholly supported. So we could be lying down on a couch, maybe bed. I personally really like to lie on the floor just because I like the kind of feedback that I get from being on a hard surface. It's kind of like receiving the energy of the earth, proverbial earth, by being on a more solid surface. So just finding a position lying down where we feel really comfortable. Feel free to hit pause right now until you find that spot. And then once you've found a position lying down, it's letting the eyes gently shut. And then, as always, maybe just giving our bodies a quick once over. So making sure that, yes, indeed, this is where we want to be. Making any adjustments now at the top of practice. And then just placing our hands on our belly here. So again, lying down, eyes closed, hands on the belly. And just giving ourselves a few deep inhales and deep exhales. And just taking a few moments here to feel the body breathing. And the rise and the fall of the belly with the breath against the skin of the palms. And then just allowing our breathing to stabilize, just breathing as we naturally would. And we'll take a few moments here as always to open our practice by opening our senses. So shifting the attention over to sound. Just receiving the sounds of the space that we're in. It's getting a bit more acquainted with our environment. Relaxing into the field of sound. And then beginning to shift the attention over to touch. So bringing the attention to the heel of the right foot. And really just sinking our attention into the heel of the right foot. And perhaps feeling into any texture. And feeling where the heel makes contact with the floor. And then slowly grazing the attention across the sole of the right foot. And landing in the right big toe. And feeling into the middle toes. And landing in the pinky toe. And tracing the attention across the top of the right foot. And through the ankle. And tracing the attention across the right shin bone. And circling the attention around to the right calf muscle. And then circling the attention around to the right kneecap. And feeling into the top of the right kneecap. Just giving a light touch of attention here. And just allowing the right knee to release. And weighted, heavy. And circling around to the underside of the right knee. And this tender little point in the body. And just giving a sweet touch of attention here. And circling the attention around to the top of the right thigh. That space where the right kneecap meets the right thigh. And slowly, deliberately beginning to walk our attention up the right thigh. And feeling the space where the right thigh meets the right hip. And circling the attention around to the underside of the right thigh. And perhaps feeling into the hamstring here. And just allowing the entirety of the right thigh to release. And weighted, heavy. And grazing the attention across the back of the right thigh into the right buttock. And circling around to the right hip flexor. Another tender little point in the body. Maybe just giving a sweet touch of attention here. And right hip flexor. And grazing the attention along the right side body. And circling around to the back of the right side body. Feeling where the right side body meets the floor. Bringing the attention to the back of the right shoulder blade. Maybe just tracing our attention where the shoulder blade meets the floor. Just allowing the entirety of the right shoulder to release. Weighted, heavy, into the earth beneath us. Continuing to trace the attention upwards to the top of the right shoulder. That sweet little spot where the right shoulder meets the neck. Maybe just giving a light touch of attention here. Grazing the attention down the slope of the right shoulder into the right bicep. Circling around to the right tricep. Just allowing the entirety of the right top arm to release. Weighted, heavy. Grazing the attention down to the right elbow. Circling around to the inside of the right elbow. Again, this tender little space in the body. Just giving a sweet touch of attention here. Tracing down the right forearm into the right wrist. Grazing the attention into the right thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky. Bringing the attention to the right palm. Again, perhaps feeling the palm of the right hand, collecting warmth from its placement on the belly. Just allowing the entirety of the right arm to release. Weighted, heavy. And then bringing the attention to the heel of the left foot. Taking a moment just to rest here in the heel of the left foot. Perhaps feeling into texture, where the heel of the left foot makes contact with the floor. Tracing the attention across the sole of the left foot. Into the left big toe, tracing through the left middle toes, landing in the left pinky toe. Grazing the attention across the top of the left foot, into the left ankle. Walking the attention upwards along the left shin bone. Circling around to the left calf muscle. Perhaps feeling where the left calf muscle meets the floor. Tracing the attention around to the top of the left kneecap. Circling around to the underside of the left knee. Tender little space in the body. And it's giving a sweet touch of attention here. And circling the attention back around to the top of the left knee. And that space where the left knee meets the left thigh. And very slowly, deliberately, and climbing the length of the left thigh. And all the way up to where the left thigh meets the left hip. And circling the attention around to the underside of the left thigh. And feeling into the hamstrings. And feeling the space where the left thigh meets the floor. And just allowing the totality of the left thigh to release. And weighted, heavy. And tracing the attention up to the left buttock. And circling around to the left hip flexor. And again, tender little point in the body. And it's giving a touch of attention to our left hip flexor. And then tracing the attention along the left side body. And from the hip up to the armpit. And circling around to the underside of the left body. And feeling where the left side body meets the floor. Feeling into the underside of the left shoulder blade. And again, maybe even tracing the shape of where the left shoulder blade meets the floor. Just allowing the entirety of the left shoulder to release. And weighted, heavy. And grazing the attention to the top of the left shoulder. And that tender little space where the left shoulder meets the neck. And sweet touch of attention here. And tracing the attention down the slope of the left shoulder. Into the left bicep. And circling around to the left tricep. And just allowing the entirety of the top left arm to release. Weighted, heavy. And grazing down into the left elbow. And circling around to the crook of the left elbow. And the inside. And giving a light touch of attention here. And tender little spot. And grazing the attention across the left forearm. Into the left wrist. And tracing down into the left thumb. And index finger. Middle finger. Ring finger. Pinky. Moving the attention to the palm of the left hand. Again, maybe even feeling the warmth of the belly against the left palm. And just allowing the entirety of the left arm to release. And weighted, heavy. And then moving the attention to the tailbone, sacrum, base of the spine, and vertebra by vertebra, walking our attention upwards and across the lower back, middle back, upper back, and feeling that crook at the back of the neck, and feeling into where the head meets the floor. And in that space where our skull meets the floor, just allowing our head to fully release, and weighted, heavy. And grazing the attention upwards to the crown of the head. And just giving a light touch of attention here. And tracing the attention across the slope of the forehead and space between the eyebrows. Just giving a light touch of attention here. And tracing down the bridge of the nose into the jaw. And just releasing any clenching that might be happening here. And grazing the attention down the chin, into the throat. And tracing down the throat into the center of the chest. And it's giving a light touch of attention here. And bringing the attention to the belly. And then just resting our attention here. And feeling the rise and the fall of the belly with the breath against the skin of the palms. And just allowing ourselves to be here for a moment, feeling the body breathe. And then feel free to stay here as long as you would like. And when you're ready to transition out of practice, just rolling over to the right side of our body. Just taking a moment to rest here in fetal position. And again, feeling where the body meets the floor. And then bringing yourself slowly up to a seated position. Maybe even keeping eyes closed here for a moment. And once you've landed in a seated position, just taking a moment to really land. And feeling where the body meets the floor. And then as you're ready, just gifting yourself a few more deep inhales, deep exhales. And letting the eyes gently open. And coming back in together at your pace, no rush. Thank you. May it be a beautiful one.